Maybe another 15 seconds. We'll go ahead and get started. Looks like a bunch of people are still piling in. Okay, so welcome everybody. So as you read, and I'm sure the reason that you joined is to learn more about Accelerate WordPress and Imunify360 and how they work together to secure the success of your WordPress hosting. So I'm sure many of you, I know many of you that I see the names that are familiar to me already know, and probably most of the other attendees already know that WordPress is a massive market. It's a huge chunk of the web. Based on our data, we see that 70% of all shared hosting websites are running WordPress. Public data shows 43.5% of all websites on the internet are running WordPress. So a lot of this is probably common knowledge to the folks on this call. What that means for Cloud Linux and what that has meant for our strategy is that there are a number of underserved needs within the hosting industry that we have aimed to fill. So there's obviously a lot of competition in the WordPress hosting world. There's a lot of demands from clients. There's a lot of problems that we know that your clients are running into. Some of those are, poor caching solutions. They're running plugins that they don't need. They're not uninstalling them when they decide not to use them. Their themes are causing issues or incompatibilities with other parts of their site. Their images are large and uncompressed, direct uploads from various digital cameras, and their code is bloated. So these are very, very common issues, and your novice WordPress user just doesn't know they exist, doesn't know how to fix them, and typically will blame the host for any performance issues that they experience, even though it has nothing to do with what the hosting provider can solve. Also, there are common security challenges. Multiple security solutions are required. Something on the front end, server security, network security, in order to keep a WordPress website properly secured. Web servers are all unique, so it depends on if you're running a fleet where you're running combinations of different kinds of web servers, or the solutions and vulnerabilities are different than those web servers. You have challenges there to keep that fleet of servers secure. Users are installing outdated or are installing vulnerable software. They're not updating that software, not updating those plugins for whatever reason. Maybe it'll break their site. Maybe they're just neglecting them. But either way, that's causing issues that typically you don't see in an enterprise type of environment. And so enterprise security tools aren't capable of solving those needs. And also zero-day attacks are not easily discovered with your typical antivirus software. So all of these issues, performance and security issues, they create headaches for your customers and for you as a hosting provider. So your site owners are typically, in most cases, as you know, are novices or potentially agencies that are struggling to manage large groups of small business users or novice users. Now, that means that they have a lack of knowledge in a lot of cases. They don't know how to troubleshoot. They don't even know what to do with an error. They have trouble configuring plugins, configuring CMS systems properly and securely, and they commonly acquire malware and run outdated software. So that's obviously creating the headaches for hosting providers. So that means increased support costs and more hand-holding involved with managing day-to-day, setting up the website. The website owners are complaining publicly, saying it's actually the hosting provider that's experiencing these problems, or the cause of these problems and not actually the software they're running or the lack of expertise of the user themselves. And obviously that also puts a load on the server resources itself. So CPU utilization, memory usage, all of that takes a hit. And when these headaches happen, that also stagnates growth. Users who are experiencing security or performance issues are not expanding. They're not upgrading to higher tier packages. They're not buying more hosting packages. They're not referring their friends and colleagues to buy hosting services through you. It definitely impacts the business all around. So here's where we come in. So SmartAdvice is a virtual assistant. So think of it as an expert analyst that analyzes both the performance and security value and security issues that your customers may be experiencing. And with that analysis, it's going to generate advice. And that advice is, again, it's based on data, so it's valid advice, it's accurate advice, and it's going to help your customer no matter what. It's going to be insightful, but in most cases, we're also making it actionable. So we're giving them an opportunity to fix page caching. If there's no page caching issues, they click a button and page caching is automatically deployed. They have large images that need to be compressed. They click a button and the images across their site that need to be compressed are automatically compressed. They need object caching. They click a button, we deploy an instance of Redis specific to that user. We activate the plugin inside of WordPress, and object caching is enabled all behind the scenes. They have a distributed visitor base all over the world, and they're serving large content, so they need a CDN. We set all of that up, configure it on the back end with one click. It all happens automatically. They get some malware. We notify them of the malware. They can click to remove that malware, to mitigate the malware. They can even upgrade to protect from future malware. So all of that is actionable advice, and this is where a lot of the solutions come in that avoid the headaches for both the site owners and for hosting providers. So, for example, with SmartAdvice, there are many ways that we can notify customers. So obviously, making sure that they get notified or they're alerted when there's a performance issue is also important because they're not typically visiting their site every day. Their site visitors are, they're using it. Those are the users who are using the site. So we need to let them know, hey, you have a performance issue, you have some malware as soon as possible with the fix. So we're notifying the users via email inside their hosting control panel and the WordPress admin UI, which are typically the interfaces that they use. And we also offer the upsell path. So when there is value enough where you have decided you wanted to charge for any premium features, any premium security or performance solutions, there's a one-click upsell for those performance and security solutions built into SmartAdvice. Now, just to give you an idea of some of the value, so we'll talk about the performance stuff here with Accelerate WordPress first. So from the end user's perspective, there are incredibly powerful features built in that can be delivered seamlessly to your users based on real data, based on the fact that we know that they need them. So we've analyzed their website, its performance is suffering, and we know the solution and we can deploy it. So that's features like, site caching, static page caching, full page caching, Redis object caching, and lazy loading of images, critical CSS file generation, image optimization for compression, which includes WebP conversion for supporting browsers, and it's all built into Accelerate WordPress. Now, you have the option, as long as you have Linux OS and a supporting license, which is Pro, Admin, and Solo licenses, you give this away for free. You give away Accelerate WordPress features completely free, and then you build an upsell path to the premium features. So you can upcharge for Redis object cache, you can upcharge for critical CSS and image optimization, and it's all seamless. So it's a self-service upsell flow, and it generates revenue for you, and it solves your customers' problems at the same time. There are several ways you can do that with the upsell flow. One is with an add-on, so you upcharge whatever monthly rate you want for Accelerate WordPress Premium, or you can just include premium features into a higher tier hosting package. So you have a WordPress Platinum hosting package. You include it in that, and then when your customers get advice for those premium features, they're encouraged to, or they give it an opportunity to upgrade to that package to acquire the access to those features. So the security path works very similarly, but it's a little bit simpler because it's just about malware detection and cleanup and protection. So the detection is free. It's included with Imunify, the solution. We'll notify your users. We'll notify them in the same ways that we notify them about performance issues inside of their hosting panel, inside of the WordPress admin UI, and then we give them an opportunity to clean that up. So that's where your upsell journey starts as well. So you can offer them the upsell flow to clean up and to purchase the protection so that they can avoid having that issue. Again, they can be protected in real time. Any malware that's detected in the future will be instantly and automatically cleaned up. So in terms of compatibility, Imunify is a little bit more broad. The operating system support is very broad here. We support more control panels. So for the security side of things, just based on Imunify360, we have a broad support for that. As far as Accelerate WordPress goes, we have a broad support for that as well, but only on Cloud Linux OS. And the reason being is to detect those issues, performance issues, we do need access at that operating system level to read the PHP processes. We're using PHP X-ray, and to do that constant the auto tracing, where we're able to detect those issues in real time. So in terms of billing today, we have a WHMCS module that does the automated upsell, whether it's the add-on upsell or the package upsell that we mentioned, where you could push the users to higher tier packages. We are building a Stripe integration where you can bring your own Stripe account, and it's just a revenue share model. It's a little bit simpler, and it still works the same way with the upsell. Once the purchase is made, the user is provisioned with the features and functionality that they opted to enable. We're also planning on doing integration with a few other billing solutions. So if you do have one that you'd like us to know about, that you want us to prioritize, the more feedback that we get, that's more data points for us to build into our prioritization model. So please do speak up in the chat. Feel free to email us, product@cloudlinux.com. We definitely like your feedback, any insight you have into how we can make this work for you is very, very much appreciated. So in terms of where we are today with Accelerate WordPress, so since launch, we've been onboarding Accelerate WordPress hosters and end users, and especially the free version, which is the page cache, static page caching, lazy loading, and all of that. We've got a very large user base already. So 108,000 end users are already using Accelerate WordPress Premium. 440,000 websites have received advice to use Accelerate WordPress, and over 7,300 servers on Cloud Linux are running Accelerate WordPress for their end users. So it's very well tested, and a lot of hosting provider hosters that are using it very happy with it, and their customers are very happy with it as well in terms of how it improves the performance of their sites. For Imunify, so I can't give you my Imunify numbers yet, as it's a very new product. But I can tell you for Imunify 360, we're running over 645,000 installations across 56 million domains and 16 million users. It's very deeply seated in the market and very successful in terms of a broad user base and and saturation. This is an important figure um, that we've recently been sharing around. So this is something that we've analyzed in the early part of this year. So we took a look at all of our Imunify 360, I'm sorry, all of our customers and all of the customers that we have data on, and we actually have their churn data based on how old an account, a user account is. And we can tell you that the users or the customers that do not have Imunify 360 are growing by 0.32% every month, and the customers that do not have Imunify 360 are decreasing by 0.89% every month. So annualized, that's quite a bit. That's 3.84% growth versus 10.68% churn. So that's a massive number. Security definitely impacts the business, as we mentioned earlier, in lots of different ways. Obviously, it impacts your your agency's businesses, your end users, site owners' businesses, and ultimately your business. When security issues are dealt with and managed and mitigated and prevented, this is the result. So we know we can share that with data, but I know that you know the best way is for you to try it out for yourself. So at the end of the day, these are the benefits. So regardless of whether you decide to enable these features for free for your users, or just to add value for your users, or to generate revenue, or both, there is benefit. It creates benefit for the industry as a whole. We're boosting performance. We're improving the reliability and the reliance on shared hosting and WordPress and in general the shared hosting industry. We're enhancing security. We're making the web a better place. We're saving your users time. We're saving you time, which obviously helps you save money and resources. And we're making it easier to use. We're making WordPress easier to use. We're making hosting in general easier to use for novices and agency customers. So that is all I have for today. I would like to open it up for questions. So we do have a webinar chat. We can monitor that for questions and feedback. Or I know that I see one that's asking for Blesta billing system. I will add that to our feedback list. It's definitely not the first time we've heard that, so we will use that data point as well. Thank you, Ron. Any questions about the integration with WHMCS or preferences, perhaps on whether or not you prefer to sell as an add-on or to upsell packages, to upgrade packages, hosting packages? Any questions about hosting panels that are not supported or not yet supported? So we have a question, is there a central dashboard for Accelerate WordPress for a fleet of servers? We do have a centralized monitoring dashboard that's available for Cloud Linux Pro license holders. Accelerate WordPress itself is installed at the server level. If you're using WHMCS and you're integrating with that, there is an additional centralized analytics view, so you can see how many users, for example, purchased an add-on. Um, for premium, or you can see how many users upgraded to your package specifically because they wanted Accelerate WordPress. So we have a lot of hosters that are monitoring that. You know, they're monitoring, okay, Accelerate WordPress is driving specifically this much growth to my top tier plans because we're delivering that data inside of the WHMCS module. So if you use WHMCS, there's a bit more data that's available to you fleet-wide as well. So good question. Thank you. Another question. I've not seen Accelerate WordPress Premium as an option in the hosting plans. Are you going to add it as a hosting plan parameter? It could be that, or that you have not, that you're using the Cloud Linux OS shared or legacy license edition. So Accelerate WordPress is only visible or it can only be enabled on Cloud Linux OS Pro, Shared Pro, Cloud Linux OS Admin, or Cloud Linux OS Solo. So it could be why you're not seeing it there as an option. And Brad has another question. Thanks for the answer. Is caching just Redis or something else? It's Redis. So page caching and full page caching is the core Accelerator WordPress plugin, which is based on WP Rocket. It's a fork of WP Rocket, in fact. And the object caching is Redis. It's an individual instance per user. So when a user, a hosting user, and activates Redis, whether they do so from advice or they just wanted to manually activate Redis. We're going to generate a new instance that is dedicated to that user, and that's very important for security. You don't want a server-wide Redis instance. You want it per user. It's generated on demand. It utilizes that user's resources from their LVE, from their resource pool. So that's also useful. You can charge for consumption of those resources um, uh, instead of allocating it across or spreading it out through the customer base. But you can actually charge the user for the consumption of those Redis resources. And the plugin is installed and automatically installed to their WordPress or however many WordPress sites they have because it's per user. Another comment here, WP Accelerate WordPress looks very similar to WP Rocket. I thought it was kind of white label. It is a fork of WP Rocket. There are some minor differences, and we're actually contributing back to WP Rocket upstream, and we're maintaining that for the benefit of hosting providers. So based on what our customers' needs are, we're maintaining that version of it, Accelerate WordPress, but it definitely was a fork of WP Rocket. Okay, we've got another question from Paul. When a customer clicks to update from cPanel, Accelerate WordPress to enable, say, Premium, does it link back to their specific hosting package in WHMCS? Absolutely, it does. Yes. So inside of cPanel, inside of WordPress, so they're prompted to, so I think I understand the question is, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're asking about when a user is from cPanel or from any UI, say it's from WordPress admin UI, they click to upgrade, they will be sent to WHMCS, your WHMCS, as you have it configured automatically, and they'll be prompted to log in to complete the purchase. So that would definitely tie back into their account and to that hosting package. Once the purchase is complete, everything is automated. It goes back and installs whatever it needs to on the specific website that had the advice or whichever website they intended to enable the feature on. It happens all automatically. So once the purchase is complete or the upgrade is complete, everything just happens. Question, oh, same question for CDN. Yes, it's exactly the same for CDN. So if they get advice for CDN or they attempt to install, activate CDN, it's the same flow. It'll take them through the purchase process. Once that's complete, or in some cases, if you give away the 1 gig free of CDN, there is no purchase process. As soon as they activate it, it's just changes, nothing that the user has to do. It's all automatic. And that was a really, really critical requirement for us. It needs to be seamless, it needs to be one click for these users. Thanks. Good, great questions. So, yes, Paul, you have a question about how a reseller account's handled, and how they're going to be for updates. So, currently, for hosting resellers, only Accelerate WordPress free is available. So that does include Redis today. That was previously not a free feature. Um, but we've moved that to free. There's no charge for Redis, and that means that it can be available for resellers. So the challenge with the premium resellers, or premium features for resellers, is that if you were to enable it for resellers, you'd be on the hook for any consumption that they have. So we're working on a kind of a credit-based system or a token-based system, so that you can then grant your resellers a certain number of credits to resell of Accelerate WordPress Premium. But for now, it's unlimited for the free features, and it's available to your resellers in the free version, which now includes Redis. So that's a very welcome addition recently for those of you who have resellers. And sorry, you have a question about upgrades? I'm not sure I understand the question about upgrades. Paul, can you clarify this? Oh, okay. It sounds like, oh, you're just correcting the earlier statement as related to reseller. Okay, cool. Still got a bit of time left. Any other questions related to Imunify, my Imunify? Okay, we got a question from Brian. Is there a bundle price for CL Pro, Imunify 360, and Accelerate WordPress Premium? So there, it's a good question, and we have recently just launched or in the process of launching my Imunify, which is the upsell version of Imunify 360. So this is the security solution that is upsold to your end users. There are a lot. This is a common question that I'm getting recently, and I'm sure that we're going to put that together. For Accelerate WordPress Premium, I mean it's something that we're looking at in several levels. Now, SmartAdvice is going to be growing, right? So ultimately, the vision for SmartAdvice is these features for performance, these features for security. We may do accessibility scanning, things like that with SmartAdvice going forward. So there will be other features that we can bundle into it. Perhaps it would be something that you bundle into it, with SmartAdvice in the future. So there's going to be a lot of different opportunities there for bundling and packaging those for both us and for you, right? So we're going to make sure that this is enticing for you. And the most important thing for us here is that we're generating revenue for you. I mean, that's the whole idea behind all of this, is we wanted to create value that is enough value that your end users are willing to pay you for it. So that's the basis of all of this. So as long as this is generating revenue and creating a good new revenue stream for you, which obviously means margin, then that's where we're at. So and that's our goal at the end of the day. And I mean, and obviously we have these premium features that some of that costs us money. It obviously costs us money to develop it. So in order to continue maintaining that, we do have to put some of that some revenue attached to it as well for us, a charge attached to it. Okay, Lauren's got a question. Is Imunify 360 can Imunify 360 replace or alternate WordFence? Is it safe to disable WordFence server-wide? So Imunify 360 is at the server level, and WordFence is at the website level, the WordPress website level. So my Immunify is today aimed at the user level, so it's kind of in between those two. We are definitely building a lot of value that does overlap with WordFence. I would not say that it's capable of replacing WordFence today, nor even that that's really our aim, right? We're aiming to solve the security issues of the user, the hosting user, in that at that level, at the user level. Um, so no, I wouldn't say that it means you can deactivate WordFence or disable WordFence. Um, in the future, it's possible. It's possible that that overlap would be so great that Immunify simply displaces the need for it. It really depends on the user. So some users want those alerts, they want notifications, and the idea of Immunify 360 and my Immunify, I'm sorry, is that it's really supposed to be a set it and forget it thing. We solve once you have the full version of protection. We don't want to bother you. We want to. The idea is that you are not going to be bothered by security issues. You just simply won't have them. Yeah, so Unify 360 is the server software. So Unify 360 is the server layer, so that has the full network protection. It's what you install on the server if you just simply want all of your users to be protected. My Unify is a new model where it's more like some of the other alternatives out there, where the user they get malware, they have some outdated plugin, they have some vulnerability, and we say, hey, this is an issue on that you need to fix. You can upgrade to get that, and it helps you generate revenue. Whereas Immunify 360 is just something you kind of use as a cost center. You just install that to make sure your servers are safe and secure, and your customers are very well protected with Immunify 360. The difference is simply the model. Whether you want it to be a cost center where you just say, look, I don't want to deal with security issues. I don't want my customers to deal with security issues, and I'm willing to eat that cost. So it's just a different model. So if you want to generate revenue from it, there's a lot of different models where that's been very successful, and so we're building that to support our customers and our market demand. Okay, looks like Andy has a question. It would be very convenient if the alert manager and centralized monitoring could take into account performance package of the users on the server. We have users with a package of 100% CPU usage. That that can be something that we are actually looking at different ways to do that. It's a very good suggestion. I've heard it from some of our other larger hosting providers. We're considering different things like um, exporting your data to Prometheus, for example, and having alerts through that. Do you use Prometheus by any chance, Andy? If you do, it'd definitely be worth reaching out outside of this call, and we could discuss different options that we could do for you, and kind of an early access type of situation. Just let me know. Feel free to email me product@cloudlinux.com if you'd like to discuss, or just share further your use case and what you need, because I'd like to get that one right, and it is on our radar. We know that our customers are looking for that kind of fleet-wide consumption data. It looks like we have another question. Does this suggest the Unify 360 is not yet perfected to protect efficiently and replace only CSF, CSX, or WordFence? It's really a question of features, right? So Unify 360, again, like it's a different model. It's at the server level. It doesn't have features that are targeted to the user or the site owner. So it's meant to just protect, set it and forget it, right? That whole mentality. It's there, it's running in the background, your server's protected. One user can't install some software that's going to affect another user or your infrastructure itself. That's the idea of Unify 360. Set is a different model. The WordPress model is It's very user interactive, site owner interactive. It's going to be dealing with different things. Unify 360 is still covering those security use cases. It just doesn't have right now the features where it's interacting with the user. My Unify is going into that space where it's still interacting with the user, but it's also still set it and forget it. It's you can either have notifications and then go fix those things yourself, or you can buy the premium version where it's all just handled for you. Does that answer your question? No. Make sure I understood that properly. When we got oh okay good. Another question: when will Immunify email come to Plesk? Um, I do not have that answer, but if you'd like to, I can follow up with you. Our product owner for Immunify email is not on this call. Actually, Maria or Artem, do you happen to know that if there's a date for Plasket? I don't believe there is a date, but there may be a target date.
As far as I know, there was no target date, but we can just follow up and provide a
Okay.
clear answer to that. Would be
Okay,
better.
so Maya, I will follow up with you after this call. I'll make a note to send you a message here. Okay, looks like another question. Do you have an unlimited license to Accelerate WordPress Premium? I think I've seen only licenses per website. It's actually licensed per user. And there are no, today, there are no unlimited licenses yet. And the reason being is that each user comes with a cost for us. So the premium features, they do have cost for us to run per user. So we've calculated that. We can narrow that down. I think for very large customers, we've negotiated some different pricing, but unlimited would ultimately put us upside down in terms of cost. So we can't offer unlimited pricing per user. Now, with that in mind, it is actually per user. So if a user has 20 websites or 100 websites, WordPress websites, it actually is still the same price for you and relatively the same cost for us. So the model could be adjusted there if that if that works for you. But I should add that technically the features of Accelerate WordPress core, the features based on WP Rocket and Redis Object Cache, and Redis Instance Automation, I should call it, are unlimited. So if you have an OS Pro, Share Pro license, you have unlimited users, unlimited reseller users that can use those features completely free of charge. So with a Pro license. So if you're not on Pro, then the upgrade to Pro is essentially giving you an unlimited license to Accelerate WordPress, just not the premium features. All very good questions. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Okay. Or it's saying that's the consideration to use the Pro version. Yeah. Yeah, we hear that a lot, and also for VPS. So it's very common for our customers to use the admin or solo licenses. The admin is a 5-user license, solo is 1 user. For those of you that don't know, and they're very common to use for VPS, and those include Accelerate WordPress as well. It includes all the features that you need to run Accelerate WordPress. So for your VPS customers, and that also really works well for any shared hosting customer that wants a seamless upgrade. So if shared hosting customers using Accelerate WordPress, they're using PHP Selector, they're using all those features inside of their common panel interface. you can set up that same experience on the VPS. So when they upgrade, they don't actually lose features and functionality. So that's a very common scenario as well. Okay. Any other questions in general? Anything related to Cloud Linux, Imunify, uh, specifically about our presentation today? It's all been very insightful and engaging. Thank you. So I guess maybe we can wrap it up unless anybody has any other questions and give it a few more seconds. Maria, did you want to add anything? Martin?
No, no, I think we're good. Thank you. You covered everything.
Cool. Well, as always, it's very important to us to get your insight and your feedback, and I'm really grateful that you all joined today and for your interest in Accelerate WordPress and Imunify. Love to have you on the next webinar, and if you have any questions as always or feedback, as always, send us an email, product@cloudlinux.com. We're always grateful to hear from you. Thank you all very much for your time.